Literary Studies in an Age of Environmental Crisis by Cheryll Glotfelty. Cheryll Glotfelty, who was born in 1958, is the professor of literature and the environment at the University of Nevada, Reno. She is the co-editor of the Bioregional Imagination, Literature, Ecology and Place. It was William Ruckert who used the term Ecocriticism in 1978 as a movement owes much to Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. It was Cheryll Glotfelty who came out with Ecocriticism Reader along with its three phases. She also defined ecocriticism as the study of the relationship between literature and the physical environment. In her Ecocriticism Reader, she talks about literary studies in an age of environmental crisis. Though race, class, and gender were the inevitable topics of the 20th century literature, there were newspaper reports about oil spills, lead and asbestos poisoning, toxic waste contamination, extinction of species, growing hole in ozone layer, predictions of global warming, acid rain, nuclear reactor disaster in Chernobyl, droughts, floods, and hurricanes. But the other disciplines like history, sociology, philosophy, law, and religion talked about the environment since 1970. Unfortunately, literary studies and literary criticism were not aware of the environmental crisis, or they have remained indifferent to the environmental concerns. However, there were individual and cultural scholars, and they had shared their ecological theories and criticisms isolatedly since the 70s. As they didn't organize into a group, ecocriticism didn't have its presence in the modern language association. In 1985, Teaching Environmental Literature, Materials, Methods, Resources, that included the outputs of 19 different scholars, made the American universities include literature courses in their environmental studies curricula, and some of the English departments began to offer minor courses in environmental literature. In 1992, a new Association for the Study of Literature and Environment, ASLE, was formed with the intention of promoting the ideas and information to strengthen the relationship between human beings and the natural world. Glotfelty is also of the opinion that Elaine Showalter's model of the three developmental stages of feminist criticism provides a useful scheme for describing three analogous phases in ecocriticism. In the first stage, how nature is represented in literature is discussed. In the second stage, the neglected genre of nature writing is discussed. And in the third stage, the dualism that prevalent in Western thought and its dividing humanity from nature is discussed. Thus, she proves the strong link between ecofeminism and ecocriticism. Ecocriticism has brought an eco-centered, earth-centered approach to literary studies instead of anthropocentrism, human-centered. It began to ask questions like, are the values expressed in a work consistent with ecological wisdom? Do men write about nature differently from women? As everything is connected to everything else in this earth, literature can't float above the material world anymore. As we have reached the age of environmental limits, as our wants and needs have outstripped the ability of the earth to provide, either we have to change our ways or we have to face the global catastrophe. According to Glotfelty, an ecologically focused criticism will help us to solve the environmental problems. It will redraw the boundaries of literary studies, bring about important changes in the curriculum and university policies. Aldo Leopold's A Sand County Almanac and Edward Abbey's Desert Solitaire should be prescribed for students. All students should have at least one interdisciplinary course in environmental studies. Then only they may feel, think, and say sometimes what Lauren Acton, her father, said on his viewing the Earth from the Space Shuttle in 1985. Below was a welcoming planet. That is where life is. That is where all the good stuff is.